honesty, how the heck does it happen so quickly? 1 minute it's Sunday, and you're thinking the week is a coming, and then next thing you know it's Thursday, and you're going, where, what, where, how? It just happens. Grace, am I right or am I right? She's saying yeah. She's saying for sure, Daddy-O. Folks, good to be with you today. Our Wildwood Thursday takeover. I do not have any extra guitars here that they've sent me. The Telecaster I played on Tuesdays, the broadcaster I should say, found a home immediately. So I had to send it back post haste. So I thought it would be kind of fun for us to take another look here at these prototype Reverend, and then maybe I'll play a couple of my Wildwood Spec and Wildwood 10 guitars for the heck of it. Let me just share this over here. I'm going to share this over to Groupie Doopie. And there we go. All right, so, hey there. I see Paul Brown is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Michael, I saw your magnificent picture with your KMT delicious vinyl and the glorious Dirt Spider t-shirt, which are on their way to all of the people that purchased one. And we're using a new t-shirt. It's a new fancy t-shirt, okay? We decided that the other t-shirts were just not conducive to majesty. So we upped our t-shirt game, ladies and gentlemen. The quality of the t-shirt is, not that the other ones weren't quality, these are just better fitting. Can I say that? They fit better. I'm not going to say that, Mike Lustig. No string trees, nice. Yes, yes. This is going to be a glorious weapon. I had an idea for a guitar. So as many of you know, and maybe some of you don't, so I'll reiterate, I do have a signature Reverend guitar called the Gristlemanster, of which this orange specimen right here is one. And as you can see, this one's in Kochwork orange. What? And I basically wanted a guitar that was a little bit bigger, the body a little bit bigger. When I was working with the Fender boys back in the day, I said, I got an idea for a guitar. And they're like, yeah, we've heard it all. I go, yeah. But listen, I had an idea for a little body, bigger body guitar, because I'm a big fella. I'm 6'7", and a lot of times when I'm playing a conventional size instrument, I have people going, what is it, a ukulele? Is it a 3/4 size guitar? And I go, no, I'm just big. Okay. And so this guitar, as with this particular iteration, the Reverend Gristlemanster, is I think about 2% larger all the way around. So it's not so large as the average person's going to go, oh my God, it's huge, I can't deal with it. But it does give the optical illusion of being more proportionate, I'm going to say proportionate, to the larger fella or woman or whoever it might be. Troglodyte, maybe it's a Sasquatch that wants to strap on a mighty guitar and start rocking the wood, the forbidden, mysterious wood with a guitar. And it's going to look more proportionate for that Sasquatch. And anyway, so I want a little bit bigger body. I like the neck that was on the Pete Anderson. I had one of those East Siders, and I enjoyed the radius of, I believe it's compound from 10 to 12, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 10 to 14? I can't remember. The brain, it's so crazy. Anyway, but I wanted just a little bit bigger neck as far as the thickness of it. So we did that, although it's not real thick. There is an extra thick one, a large baseball bat-like neck with a little bit of a V on it, that Wildwood did a special run of, which are available actually right now at Wildwood. You can go online and they have the black Gristlemanster has a larger neck profile. Also, the Kochwork orange color is a Wildwood exclusive as well. And they also did one with the Paul Farrell fingerboard, which is something that is not available anywhere else either. FYI. So anyway, we had these other guitar in the pickups, and there were my Fishman Fluence Telecaster pickups, which they come stock with, which magnificent. I've been working with Fishman for a while. So we got those pickups are going, and we thought, hey, we started working together with the Reverend guys, and next thing you know, the Gristlemasters came out, and they're doing great. People love them. I love them. Hey, life is great. But I had a hankering for an instrument that was more Gibson scale. And I wanted a set neck, and I wanted an ebony fingerboard, and we did that. And I wanted P90s. I'm a big fan of P90s. I'd use P90s on guitars of mine, but they're a noisy pickup. Because they are single coil, but it's a bigger coil, it seems that they're even more susceptible to whenever you give them get a little heat, get a little moisture as far as the heat is concerned, some distortion. It gets a little, can get a little, like there's no escape from the oil. You know what I'm saying? It's scary. And every other noiseless attempt at a P90 has kind of mitigated the tone in such a way where it's just not really been a thing that you can get a noiseless P90. But the Fluence technology, so damn good, as people will attest to, have those Telecaster pickups or have one of my Reverend guitars, they'll say, damn, these pickups sound good. And they do, doggone it. But they are noiseless, but they sound good. They sound good first, and they're noiseless, as opposed to the other way around. They're noiseless, and they sound all right. That's usually kind of the modus operandi with noiseless single-coil style pickups. So those pickups, as I said, on the Reverend guitar, my other signature set of Fluence sound magnificent. So I wanted to do something with P90s. So we voiced the P90s. We had the voicing almost set and ready to go, and then COVID-19. COVID-19 came along and screwed up our whole timetable. So the pickups were supposed to be out by Summer NAMM. The guitar was supposed to be out by Summer NAMM. But like so many other things, due to the calamity that's going on, everything got pushed back. So, hey, you know what? You must adapt. You must pivot. You got to pivot. You got to adapt. Right, Grace? You got to pivot. You got to adapt. Doggone. So, the pickups I do not have yet. I did talk to Ken Susi from Fishman last week, who's also in the band Unearthed, I might add. He's a rock and roll savage. He called me up and he said, hey, we got a set of the pickups for your final approval, and we're going to send you they got another prototype of my P90 fueled Gristlemaster. I guess I don't know what we're going to call it. Ken and I are going to talk about it with Penny, and we're going to figure out what we're going to call it. Is it going to be just called the Gristlemaster P90? We don't know. We're going to figure it out. But the guitar is coming in January. It's going to be available in January, probably in stores in February. That's what we're hoping for. If the world, well, I'm not even going to get into what possibilities lie before us. But all things being equal, okay, we're going to say January or February. And so these in this guitar are still the regular P90s from Reverend, which sound great. So when I think of P90s, especially in this guitar, is the neck pickup has this glassy but yet real thick. Sounds big and juicy. Now the bridge pickup is kind of got this squawk to it. It's quack. That middle position, it just sounds so doggone. Right? It sounds so doggone. Carl says it should be called the Defenestrator 90. Yeah, but we don't want people to throw it through their windows, Carl. That's what defenestration implies. You know what? I'm drinking this Spindrift beverage, and when I did one of my little interviews for the podcast, the Chewing the Gristle podcast, have you signed up? Have you subscribed yet? Doggone it. We got so many people on there. We got Joe Satriani, we got Deke Dickerson, we got Mark Lettieri, we got Mateus Asado. The Mateus Asado one just dropped. We've got Robbie McIntosh is coming. We got Joe Satriani on there. We've got doggone Steve Lukather, for pity's sake. Johnny A., Josh Smith, Kirk Fletcher. Good Lord, the hits just keep on coming. Diggity dog, Andy Timmons. Pa! Anyways, I did one with Jeff Garland the other day. It's not up yet, but it will be. And he goes, have you tried this Spindrift? They got one that's like, the tea with the lemonade. What do they call that? I go, Arnold Palmer. He's like, yeah, they got an old bro. And doggone if I didn't buy it, and I thought it was delicious. My wife thinks it tastes awful. Well, the only thing good about that is that since everybody in the family thinks it tastes awful, that means there's more for trade. More for trade. Mm-hmm. Ah, damn it, that's thirst quenching. Anyway, doggone it. The Squawkmaster 90. Not bad, Adam. I like that as well. So we're calling this color Tosa Turquoise, which I thought was good because I live in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. The short, abbreviated word, abbreviation for Wauwatosa, people say Tosa. So I thought Tosa Turquoise sounds cool. Right, Grace? Sounds cool. Just going, yeah. Anyway, they sound so doggone good clean. They got a little bit of that thick. Sounds so diggity-dogged. Someone asked, will the Mateus Asado interview be on YouTube as well? I believe so. Paulie Brown, I think we're gonna have that Mateus one. Yeah, I believe so. I believe all there is going to be some transition at some point from the video footage just being on the pod. Then we're just going to have the podcast. The audio is just going to be available. But we'll see. It may not be the case. We might do the video as well as the audio. But for now, they come out in like 5-part increments. So can you dig it? I like it. Can you dig it? Excellent question. Will the Fluence P90s have 2 voicings as well? They will indeed. Actually, they'll have a third voicing if you count the out of phase position. So it's going to have 2 voicings. The first voicing we kind of centered around more of a vintage P90 type of a sound, which I was aiming for, again, kind of the paradigm of this, where you got that glassy but yet girthsome neck pickup. You got that doggone squawky, weird, funky bridge pickup sound in the middle. They both come together and just go, ah. So that's delicious. And then the second voice has a lot of those different characteristics of what we just described, but just a little bit more. It's going to have a little bit more output and a little bit more push, 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 as Robert Plant used to say. I don't know why he said it, but he said it. Push, push, push. So I think that's going to be in the brochure as well. Second voice of the P90s, push, push, push. And there'll be a little picture of Robert Plant. I don't know if we can license that, but I think it's a good idea. So vintage P90 and push, push, push. So that's what's going to happen. That was embarrassing, but I know what I have no shame. I'm just going to wear it like a pelt around my Robert Plant. Push, 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 push. So now it's getting even more out of hand. I like it. Boy, that faux caffeinated beverage is really kind of hitting me right in the sternum. Anyway, but the out of phase thing is going to be very cool. Sorry, I'm talking a lot here, folks, but sometimes we mix it up. But sometimes we play a lot, sometimes we talk a lot. This is unscripted. We just go with the damn flow, okay? Sometimes I have people go, shut up and play your guitar. Well, we are doing this on behalf of Wildwood Guitars, and they're kind of in business to sell some guitars. So we like to talk about them every now and again. Am I right or am I right? Grace, am I right or am I right? She said you're down right. Anyway, so I want an out of phase thing, ladies and gentlemen. And if you play a Peter Green, a guitar that's wired like the Peter Green setting, when you're in the middle position, you're out of phase, and you have both volumes up, bridge pickup, neck pickup all the way up volume-wise. If you go back on either one of those volume controls, it takes that real kind of AM radio duck-walky type of out-of-phase sound, and it just makes it just a little bit more girthsome and usable if you just go back just a hair, right? People know what I'm talking about, And it's the most glorious tone. So we have that available. So what you're going to be able to do is go fully out of phase or back a little bit from one of those pickups so that you get that thicker version of a not quite totally out of phase sound. And then that could be your preset. So that's going to be available inside the control panel so that when you hit your push-pull pot to go out of phase, it will be that preset of what you wanted for the out of phase sound, which I think, if I'm not blowing my horn too loud, it's a damn good idea. Huh? So they'll have the two voices. The P90s will have the two voices, and then the shapeable out of phase. Oh, I like that. The shapeable out of phase. Boy, we're coming up with a bunch of marketing gold here today. We got the push, push, push for the second setting, and we got, I've already forgotten it. Oh, Lord. Customizable voice. Diggy, diggy, dee doo. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh, Leland, I see what you did there. Cambodian dictator, push Pol Pot. Push Pol Pot. I don't know if that's okay to say. I think we're gonna move on. But that's all right. We do what we got to do. Can you dig it? Kind of Kenny Burrell-esque. It was very Kenny Burrell-esque, if I may be. So that was what I was going for. That's the thing off the Boy, the brain, you know, as you get old. What's that doggone record called? Come on, help me out, folks. You know what I'm talking about. It's the one with... Yes, the Bigsby works great. Wait, is that the same can as last time on the drum kit? No, it's a new one. Midnight Blue, thank you very much. Doggone it. It's a little scary every now and again. I keep on forgetting stuff. And then I saw this Someone was talking about this the other day. It's that it's a sign of spiritual enlightenment when you start forgetting stuff. Grace, did you realize that? Yeah. That's a sign of, I don't need that anymore. Those facts aren't important. I think that's the greatest thing I've heard for gradually losing your memory. You know what? I'm past it. What? Yeah, Midnight Blue, and that tune's called Ain't You Been Good to Me, or what's that song called? Again, with a memory. Right? I like it. Eric, this is an excellent question. The custom shop neck P90 on my 56 reissue Gold Top sounds a bit muddy. Hoping your P90s will fix this. Well, they certainly will. That was the thing with P90s, is that, you know, depending on what guitar they are and depending what P90s they are, man, it's a mysterious world. But this is going to be one of those situations where with the Fluence, it's going to be, you know, sometimes you play, well, I know because I play all those doggone guitars, if I'm doing Gibson Day in the Wildwood Lair, and there's like a bunch of custom shop Les Pauls, most of them have humbuckers, and all of a sudden you grab them with P90s, and you would think that a single coil pickup wouldn't be as bassy and huge sounding as a humbucker, but you put on P90s, sometimes it's just like, it's just this fat, beastie thing, and to Eric's point, sometimes the neck pickup can be like this, just a wash of just this muddiness. And so what we went after is what I described earlier, the neck pickup having this glassy, big, robust low end thing, but definitely not an ambiguous low end. You know what I'm saying? So it'll sound kind of a perfect, hopefully, epitome of what I think a P90 neck pickup should sound like. Have a bit of glass, but have that girth. So if you want to play a little jazz on it, or you put a little heat on it, it gets all bluesy and thick, but not so much that it gets lost in a kind of a fuzzy realm. Fuzzy realm. Wow, I got taken away there to a fuzzy realm. So yes, I hope I answered the question. Patrick McManus says, my Jetstream 290 is a twang machine. I'll tell you what, folks, I'm not going to lie to you. The P90s that are on the Reverend guitars sound great. And a lot of people who are P90ites, gather around the fire, P90ites. Wow, sounds like a party of P90ites. A lot of them love the Reverend pickups as a shining example of what P90s should be. So anyway, these P90s sound great. Okay, that middle position. Nick asks, can you put some heat on all three positions? I certainly can. And I'm going to do it with the pedal as opposed to the amp. We could do both, but let's try the pedal first. So that's bridge position. See how noisy it is? When it has the Fluence, obviously that sound won't be there. I'm using that little, that new pedal of mine, that little collaboration thing I did with Tone City. It's called the Little Heat pedal. One day I'll get my Gristle King out and the Little Heat, and you'll hear them both. But this is just a Little Heat pedal. Here's the middle position. Here's a neck pickup with a little bit of heat. Sounds good, right? Diggity doggone it all anyway. Someone asked about we don't have my Fishman pickups in it yet. So this is the prototype of what the Reverend guitar will look like that will be coming out in January. But the pickups will actually be my Fluence P90 signature pickups, which I actually should have a set of in another prototype very, very shortly. And then once I sign off on that, well, then by God, we can really have a lot of fun. So both the Fishman Fluence P90 pickups that will be in this particular guitar, both the guitar and the pickups will be coming out in January. That's the goal. Can you dig it? The strings go over here on this Bigsby. They go around like that. It takes a little bit to get used to restringing a Bigsby. Am I right? First, there's kind of a phase where you just swear a lot, and you just start using all manner. Like you go through your full breadth of swears. Depending on what part you start from. If you start from the high E string and go to the G string, usually by the time you're on the D string, you're over it, and you're like, okay, I got this. Or the other way around. If you start on the low E string, usually by the time you get through the D string, go to the G string, then the profundity of the profanity has ceased. And then you just get used to it, and it's not a big deal. Can I dig it? Can you dig it? Will you dig it? Can you dig it? Some fun with the doggone Reverend prototype for what will be my next signature guitar with them. And I'm sure Wildwood will do some proprietary colors. This one is going to be a production line color, which we're calling Tosa Turquoise. Yeah, there's going to be other two colors. They're going to be coming soon. And then I'm sure Wildwood will do a special color. We'll probably talk about it soon with them. Yes, this looper is a Ditto, a TC Electronic Ditto X2 looper. Sometimes it's fun to play with the looper, right? Sometimes it's fun to play with the looper. Another thing I like about P90 is that they sound great for slide because they're just so thick and juicy. up for reals. Tune it up for reals. Open G tuning, ladies and gentlemen, for the kids. It's good for you. And so the low E string goes down to D, the G, A string goes down to G, and the high E string goes to D as well. Everyone get that? There's going to be a test. There's going to be a test. You're going to get a phone call. You have 10 seconds to describe what open G tuning is, or else you will be harvested for a feast with the aliens. Whoa! Yes, this guitar, for those who have just tuned in, this is the prototype of my next signature model from Reverend. And it will, in fact, have new noiseless pickups that I developed with Fishman. So there'll be Fishman Fluence P90s with my grubby name on them. And but this particular guitar is just a prototype with the regular Reverend P90s in it. I should have another prototype very soon, loaded with the Fishman P90s for my final approval very, very soon. And so these doggone guitars should be coming out in January or in February. I think they're going to be in stores. That's what we're aiming for, doggone it. That's what we're aiming for. Right? Woo! Yeah, buddy. Feels good. Yeah. Ah, yes. So this, again, is my prototype, Reverend. that's coming out. I already have one out, which I'm gonna just grab that for a hot second. You know, it'd be kind of fun. Let's just play humbuckers in comparison for a second. So this is a Wildwood Spec, Gibson Custom Shop Wildwood Spec 57 featherweight. It's really light, but it's not weight relieved. It's just light, which is fantastic. Is the action raised for slide playing? No, it's not, Mark. I just adapt to whatever guitar I'm at playing slide. The glass helps me not push down too hard. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to do it. Right? Can you dig that kind of activity? This guitar sounds magnificent. This is a Wildwood Spec. Now, this is an interesting, someone just, I have to get back to this fellow who emailed me. I try to, sometimes I don't see the emails, folks, that they go through Facebook and stuff, and sometimes they lie in the realm of no return for quite some time. Woody Woodpeckery. Anyway, someone asked me about Les Pauls and what, specifically Tom Murphy Les Pauls. Were they worth it, and so on and so forth. I personally lust for a Tom Murphy aged and painted Les Paul. I don't think I'd get like a totally, I'd probably go for like a VOS type of age, but just that nice little, so it's just kind of looked wore in just a little bit. When they're all like glossy and brand spanking, they just make me nervous because I know I'm just going to destroy them with my savage beastliness. But the Tom Murphy aged and painted, he picks out the good wood. He picks out the good wood. He picks out the good wood. I don't know what happened to me there. I got taken away by something called, he picks out the good wood. Tom Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, he picks out the good wood, and he knows what he's doing with the doggone painting, and he knows what he's doing with the doggone aging. So when you play one of those guitars, you just go, damn. And then you look at the price, and you go, oh. So there's the first part, damn. The second part, oh. So it's one of those things where if I was kind of more of a full-time Les Pauler, a full-time Les Pauler, another song, they just come to me. That was a song called Full-Time Les Pauler. I would drop the extra scalotes to get a Tom Murphy. I'd get specifically a Wildwood Spec Tom Murphy aged and painted guitar. The Wildwood Spec ones are just, there's just a little extra something about them. Back in the day, there was a lot more something about them in terms of there were things that the Wildwood Specs did that the regular, there still are a few things that differentiate them, but they used to be even more drastic. In terms of the Wildwood ones are just, in my opinion, a step up, just in what's all going on there. And from the pickups, there's special pickups that go in the Wildwood ones. The guitars have to be a certain weight. There's all kinds of stuff. Old Steve Messplay, I'll tell you what, he's a smart son of a gun from Wildwood, and he always thinks of things, along with Steve Stewart and the rest of the fellas, to come up with things to make the next iteration of the Wildwood Specs that come from the custom shop, as far as Les Pauls are concerned, something unique and something that you can only get at Wildwood. Wow, I don't know what happened there. So I'm a big fan of the Wildwood Spec versions of the Les Pauls. Not that the regular custom shop ones aren't magnificent as well. They're great. I have a tendency to, if people aren't absolutely fascinated by getting a 59 in name, so an R9 with a real flamey top and aged and so on and so forth. Those are going to be the priciest ones, just because Gibson figured out a long time ago that people want, for whatever reason, the 59 more than anybody else, because that's the iconic one. But for some reason, 58s are a good bargain as a result. So you can get 58, which I like, because traditionally the 58s had a little bit of a bigger neck profile on them. So you can get yourself a 58-ish. Any of them are great, but I'm just saying what I look at, especially now because I'm thinking about getting another one, and I'd like to get a Tom Murphy, and so I'd aim for a Tom Murphy aged and painted Wildwood Spec 58 is what I would go for. Now, if there was a 59 that tripped my trigger and I wanted, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I adapt to the neck profiles. The neck profiles are different. If a guitar comes with a skinny neck on it, and I dig the guitar overall, I'm not going to let it deter me from maybe grabbing it. By the same token, if it's got a big neck profile, I'll be like, I dig it. I just adapt, and that becomes that guitar's thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to play that guitar because I'm in that mood for that particular neck shape and so on and so forth. Anyhow, so that's what I would aim. Now, as far as the colors, that's an interesting thing too, because there's so many different variations. I was kind of at first not really into the kind of the yellowish version, although that's what most of the bursts look like now. So that's what they faded to. But I've come around. So that greenish yellow, I'm all about it. So sometimes I see a guitar like that with a little bit of flame on it, and I'm like, yeah. But other times I just see a regular cherry sunburst, and I go, ooh. So then I see the tobacco sunburst, and I think, hi. So I like them all. So I just got to find something that I like. And one of these days in the orange room here, you will see me with another bursty burst at some point. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But that's what I kind of look for when I look for those guitars. This is a good question. Mark Knight asks, can Wildwood Spec PAF pickups be ordered separately? I do not believe so. It's something you got to get right on the doggone guitar, which is part of the mystery. The Wildwood Spec pickups are a thing of glory, and they're only available on the Wildwood Spec Les Pauls or Gibson Wildwood Spec Gibsons. Can you talk a little bit about string action height and what you prefer? Paul, I am not extraordinarily picky. It's kind of funny, the way Reverend sets up their guitars, because when you get a guitar in the mail from Reverend, well, let's put it this way. If you get a guitar in the mail from Wildwood, it's going to be fantastic, because they're going to want to know how you want it set up and so on and so forth. If you just do the standard setup for me, it's going to be magnificent. Sometimes when guitars come out of the box, depending on how long they've been in the case and so on and so forth, sometimes there's a struggle. But I will say that the Reverend guitars, when they send me a guitar, that's the way I play it. So the same setup that you get when you get your Reverend guitar is the same setup I have on mine. Although I do have a tendency to take off the 3-string tree and go to either a 2-string, or I'll just take the whole damn thing off, just because I like to do. There's some business I do behind the nut. That sounds weird, but I think you know what I'm talking about. A nice pinstripe flame. Yes, I have, sometimes I like the real quilty flame. It's amazing, because most of the Les Pauls that I think I can speak for a lot of us when we were youngins. 1982, I remember there was a Dwayne Allman, retrospective guitar player magazine. The whole magazine was dedicated to Dwayne Allman. And you saw that Les Paul on the cover, and you're like, I need one of those bursts. That's what I want. And it just seems so bursty, like, or you see Jimmy Page's, but there'd be the right picture, and you'd see the burst, like, oh, look at that. Or you'd see Billy Gibbons or Peter Green, yada yada yada. But so many of the tops now are like 10 times what those were, and those are cool too if that's what you're into. And there's sometimes I'm totally into that. But for me, I kind of just like more of a subtle thing. And then there is a whole argument about how the plainer maple tops sonically sound better because of X, Y, and Z, just the nature of the wood and the properties of the wood. But boy, that flame it's intoxicating. Les Paul is one of those guitars where you just like to look at it. I remember for years when I was going out to Wildwood, I had purchased a Greg Martin Collector's Choice number 15 Les Paul Gibson Custom Shop. And I kept it out there. That was I used to call it my, what did I call it? My mistress, my Rocky Mountain mistress. It was a six-stringed mistress. And I would always take it to the hotel, or sometimes I'd rent a house out there that was right down the street from Wildwood, and I'd stay there. They'd rent a house for me. And that guitar was the first thing I'd see in the morning. I'd be like, oh, I'd just look at it. That's the way Les Pauls are. For some reason, they just are such eye candy as well. So, doggone it. Tone flames, exactly, my friends. Patrick says, I like plain top guitars. Yeah, I don't blame you. But sometimes that little bit of that doggone flame, it's intoxicating. It's intoxicating. The new 50s Les Paul Standard is a great bang for your buck. It certainly is, Mike, and there is a Wildwood version that they do. So it's a Gibson USA, but it's a Wildwood, and it's not Wildwood Spec, but it's they call it Wildwood. You'll see it when you go on their website. Boy, that's good job, Greg. Anyway, so the pickups are a little different. They're not what the Wildwood Spec pickups are and the custom shop stuff, but they are a little different pickup, and then they choose different tops. So there's that, which are a lot less expensive, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2.5-ish K, as opposed to. That's the thing with the Tom Murphy stuff. It gets up there in price, but doggone it, they're nice. That's all I'm gonna say. They're when you play one of those, and you're like, doggone it. Tommy asked, do I like the 60s thin necks? Yeah, I like those too. Sometimes I grab one of those 60s and I go, you know what, I could play this. So I don't get real bent out of shape one way or the other. Anyway, Gristlemaster, do you like humbuckers or single coils for expressive blues playing? I like them both. I play differently depending on if I'm playing like a Gibson with humbuckers versus a Fender style guitar with single coils. There's things that you have a tendency to gravitate to stylistically. So I definitely, I like both, but I play differently on both. But that's kind of the fun of it, isn't it? It's like, I'm gonna grab that guitar, now it's gonna sound a little different, so I have a tendency to do X, Y, and Z. Or, I mean, there certainly is some cross-pollination. There are things I'll do on both guitars, but there are things I might gravitate to on one or the other because they're more conducive to that kind of playing. Can you dig it? Yes, nice 50s bursts sell themselves. They do, but it's interesting. I play a lot of those guitars when I'm out at Wildwood, and they all sound a little different. So it is, the videos have been effective for folks to be able to go through one to the next one, like, I really like the top on this one, but this one's got a little bit more of a mid-range thing, and the other one's got a little bit more of this. You could definitely hear the difference. So, but yeah, you're right. They're all intoxicating. It's not like you would like, oh yeah, I'm not going to get that one because of. But when you're choosing not only the visuals but the sounds, you can definitely hear the diff. Michael asks, resale value plays a role, or maybe should, when buying a Les Paul. I think that's true. Absolutely. I mean, it's not like you don't get the exact thing you're going to pay for. Obviously, when you sell it down the line. Although sometimes, depending on the guitar, it does increase in value. Some of the more collectible stuff, where if it's a collector's choice or a limited, obviously anything limited edition is going to be worth more dough. But I will say that if you buy a custom shop Les Paul, that guitar is going to retain its value much more so than a lot of other different guitars. And maybe even will increase if it has any kind of degree of limited edition to it. A limited edition. Any chance of some greenie while the Les Paul is on hand? Ooh, maybe so. one of my favorite little. Before the Beginning, that song is called. The Peter Green collection with Fleetwood Mac on the. Boy, the brain is working great today. Fantastic. Off the Then Play On record, which is the same one with. I got things to do, I move every day. Hope you don't mind that I'm coming your way. Folks, it's about 4:03. Any last questions out there? Philip says, Greg, thanks for the stream. What did you do for ear training when learning? Are you, well, there wasn't really a particular method I learned for ear training other than I just listened a lot to records and just tried to pilfer it off. I did go to school for music, so I did take an ear training class. But most of the time, I just play along with records and figure stuff out, and then I just remember it. I've got a pretty good memory for stuff. So, someone asked about the new Trio record. Well, we have we've narrowed it down to 12 tracks, which are pretty well mixed. I just made a few other notes today of stuff that we're just a little tweak here and there. The record company has the 12 tunes as they exist to peruse and figure out what the plan of attack is going to be. It's an interesting time because obviously you really sell records when you're on the road. So I think a lot of records are being waited to be released until we can travel again. But by the same token, I'm doing these doggone live streams all the time, and I have no doubt that people would find out about the record being out that way, and certainly there would be other reviews, and we play online concerts with the band and so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the label has to say, and then we'll get that doggone thing out. I like this question. Greg, how is it possible to rock so hard? Is it a special power? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it is a special power. You got to let go and let rock. Some people are afraid. They're like, oh, no, I can't. Ooh. Oh. By the same token, some people are like, ah. So you got to be like, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of animal over here and mix it a little bit with, no, ignore this person. And just kind of right there. And there you go. Everybody steal licks from somebody. Everyone steal licks from everybody. I just, when I started off, I cherry-picked stuff from stuff that I liked, thinking, oh, that's an unusual lick. I bet if I took this from that guy and that from this person and that from this person and put it in my own little stew, that'll be cool. And then gradually I started taking stuff and then doing it my own way. And then I just started to come up with my own way of doing those different things. A lot of times when you're figuring something out from a record, you figure it out wrong. And you're like, that's not quite what they're doing on there, but I kind of like it better. And then or at least, you kind of do your own thing with it. So that's been good. So would be happy to support by getting the new record. Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to getting it out. The record sounds really good. Everyone, oh, my record sounds really good. I mean, if you liked a lot of these tunes we've been playing for a while because we haven't had a chance to get another record out. So tunes like Allora and this song Succulent. That Lures that tune. Then the one like and of course there's some of the vocal tunes like Daddy Long Leg. And then there's Funky Claw. and so forth. Then the and of course, we can forget Luna Girl. All those tunes are on it, so it's going to be a rockin' record. What model is that Les Paul? Robert, it is a Wildwood Spec 57 Les Paul, the featherweight, so it's really light. It's not weight relieved, it's just really light wood. And it is in the color of sweet cherry. It's got a little bit of flame on it, just a little bit. Can you see that? A little bit of that sweet flame. And the pickups on this one are my Fishman Fluence open core classic humbuckers. They sound damn good. And Real Mother For You is on there as well, exactly. Someone wants to hear the Strat. I can play a Strat for. I'll play the Strat for a hot second. Another thing I really like about the Fluence pickups is that I can unplug this Les Paul, which has humbuckers on it, obviously, and grab a Strat. Now, usually you would have to re-EQ an amplifier in order to get each other to sound, the guitars to play well together, if you will. And I am just simply going to unplug one and plug in the other. And that sounds good. Someone asked what pickups do I like to use. I like to use them all. I love the neck pickup on a Strat. I do like the middle pickup. Bridge pickup. The two position. The four position. You get the idea. Greg, you mentioned Mel Brown in a recent video. I was shocked that anyone heard of him. I met Mel a few times in my hometown of Gulf, Ontario. Look at a song up called Summer Magic. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the record Chicken Fat, Mel Brown Chicken Fat, everyone should have that. Everyone should have that record. Mel Brown Chicken Fat. Find it, turn it on, listen to it, come back to the broadcast next time and chime in. Say, you know what, that record grooved my brain. It grooved your brain. It's a good one. Everyone should have it. But Greg, do you have longer fingernails on your right hand or no? I do a little bit, especially on my middle finger and third ring finger. Just enough to pop the strings, though. So just a little bit. As long as I have a little white above the cuticle, I got enough to pop the string. Do you ever incorporate a delay pedal live or when recording? I certainly do. A lot of times with the trio, though, in the last few years, I've kept the pedal game pretty just to like the amp. The amp's got a harmonic vibrato on board, but I do like to have a little slapback, and I did use a little slapback on the record. that I actually put it on myself, not just had the studio guy do it. Steve Hamilton, engineer extraordinaire. We did some stuff where he put some different longer delays on some things here and there, using the studio weaponry. But I've got this cool jam pedals multi-effect thing with all kinds of goodies on it, and one of them is just a cool analog delay, and I put a little slapback on, a little slapback around it. It sounds good. Anyways, well, listen, folks, thanks so much. Robert asks, any suggestions about practicing a vibrato technique? Boy, that's a hard one. I do a bunch of stuff on vibrato in various different books, especially on the on that Guitar Clues Operation Pentatonic book. I do stuff where I like do a thing. You hit a note, bend it up a whole step, and then add vibrato. Especially on the top 3 strings. Or you can do things on first finger vibrato. I'll keep the finger a little bit more perpendicular to the strings. Everything else I got a little bit more of a horizontal slant to it, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll use my second finger, especially up in this second position of the pentatonic. I'll use that second finger right there. Then go to the third finger. But you'll start noticing. Yeah, it's different. Some is at the wrist, some is it's, I'm just literally doing my elbow. And then this is more of that's a wrist thing there, this is elbow. That's wrist. And the BB King kind of butterfly. I'm using this as a contact point with the neck and then the tip of my finger. And my wrist is going like this, like, hello, my baby, hello, my darling, hello, my ragtime girl. I always think of a little frog with a top hat going, hello, my baby. I don't know why, it's twisted. Dan says, back in 2004, you were an instructor at the Duquesne University Summer Guitar Workshop that I attended. I still think about your presentation because I learned so much. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Dan. That's very nice. 2004, I think that's when I also performed there with that trio, the drummer, and who was the bass player? Dan, if you remember the bass player's name, I'd like to know. He had an Italian last name. I remember that. But he was buddies with a guy who was from Pittsburgh that played with Roy Buchanan. He laid on me 2 board mix. They were like from radio trend, like live on the radio type of things that Roy Buchanan had done. One was in upstate New York someplace, and I don't know, but these 2 things were delightful. I still have them. I'd like to get in touch with that fellow again. How does Clapton control that floating vibrato? Well, Clapton mostly... The thing that Clapton does that's weird to me is that he does the floating vibrato on the D string as well, which is, the string is going upward. It does on the A string. Whereas I have a tendency to go down. Going down first. Peter asks, what's the story with the turquoise P90 crystal behind you? We just talked about that for the whole first part of the broadcast, Peter. So you can, it's the prototype for my next Reverend signature guitar that's coming out in January/February that will have new signature P90 pickups that I'm doing with Fishman on board. It's Gibson scale, set neck, ebony fingerboard. We'll have the new Fishman pickups. It's got that glorious Bigsby on it that works, and that color is what we're calling toasted turquoise. There'll also be 2 other tone hues, and I'm sure Wildwood will do an exclusive color of some sort. Will you ever tour east of the Mississippi? Well, thank you very much. We'll get out there as soon as we're able. Really, that's what we're trying to do. Jeff Mangoni. That could be it, Dan. Jeff Mangoni. Maybe that was his name. Nice guy. Great bass player. Anyway, Isle of Wight, 1970. Little Jim Hendrix. Who had that record? Rock festivals of. It was a combination record. It would fold it out into 3 things, and it was a combination of the Atlanta Pop Festival and the Isle of Wight Festival, and it had performances. Johnny Winter version of Mean Mistreater was on there. Allman Brothers were on there. And then Hendrix, a couple tunes from Isle of Wight. But there's a tune on there that he does called Midnight Lightin' that you can't find on any of the other, like Wild Blue Angel or any of those kind of Isle of Wight things that the Hendrix family has done. You cannot find the version of Midnight Lightin' that's on the great rock festivals of the 70s. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. But it's pretty wicked. And then he does the version of Message to Love on there. And Foxy Lady. Listen, folks, I got to roll. It's 4:19. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Wildwood, for your continued support out here as I'm in the wilds of Wisconsin and unable to get to Colorado. We will be continuing to have new guitars sent to me by Wildwood that I will play in the Orange Room that will actually be for sale, that you can hear and smell and taste. Well, you won't be able to smell them or taste them, but you can hear them at least and see them. So that's coming. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time doing my Fishman takeover. And then, folks, another thing I'm doing, I'm trying to build up my my YouTube page. All of my YouTube videos that have like a gazillion hits are all other people's YouTube page. You know what that means? It means old Dre doesn't get paid. So I'm trying to build up. I'm in the process of monetizing some of the things on my YouTube page, but I'm trying to. Every morning I get up and I post a little thing where I do a little looper and play another tune. So I'm putting different content on my YouTube page. I do a little thing on Instagram as well, and sometimes I'll post it to Facebook. But I'll be doing, as time goes on, I'll be doing more YouTube exclusive stuff. So please click, subscribe, and share. That's what all those YouTubers say, ladies and gentlemen. Please click. Oh, no, I forgot it already. Click, subscribe, and share. Click, subscribe. Click, subscribe, and share. Say what? Click, subscribe, and share. I want to be a thousandaire, so click, subscribe, and share. I want to be a thousandaire. Please click, subscribe, and share. All right, folks, we'll see you later.